Please, if you can tell us the answer to this question.
Good flavor.
Coming up, your favorite interview moments on Power Picks 88. 88 because I was there in a lot of these wonderful moments that happen during interviews. Or there's also some very deadly moments that happen in interviews when you get a band that has nothing to say, never will have anything to say, and certainly if they ever did, wouldn't dare open their mouths on TV when they're supposed to be saying it. Very frustrating. We got a lot of letters about your favorite interviews and what we should be playing, and unfortunately we don't have time to play any in their entirety, of course. A lot of you wrote and said that Kiss was your favorite thing, especially the Kiss special we did. A lot of the rest of you wrote and said, why do a Kiss special? I'm so sick of seeing that band. You just can't please anybody. But we did put together a little montage of what you thought were some of your favorite interviews. We've got more coming up a little later, but we thought first we'd just let you in on a few of these more interesting clips from our past year on the Pepsi Power Hour. Here they are.
Nice to have you back in Canada, and welcome to Much Music.
Thank you very much, Steve.
Thank you, Steve. Christopher.
Christopher.
Thank you, Steve. Christopher.
No, Christopher. We got it right now?
All right, yes.
Okay, it's usually Laurie, but that confusion is eradicated.
Okay, well,
so.
we can call him Desmond.
Yeah, oh, fine. I grew up here so nobody would mistake me for Laurie, just so you know.
Oh, Laurie.
Yes,
I remember
she's usually her.
Yeah.
Well, she'll be back next week.
She has a beard, though.
No, not anymore. She shaved it off.
She lent it to you. You just said
yes,
so.
She did.
Also, it's hard to understand, really, if, I know for all those who are familiar with the Love It First Sting cover, for example, it's hard to understand that they ban these from the shops and have next door, imagine any shopping mall, next door a newspaper shop, and you have all these Hustler, Penthouse, and Playboy magazines. You know, and they're much more offensive than our cover could ever be. So, you know, what's the story behind that?
I take my music so serious and the lyrics so serious, and I have a lot to say because, you know, I have so much inspiration and I meet lots of people, and I want to express myself through the lyrics, and for me music is everything. It's my love, and to write lyrics, you know, I can free myself, and this is very important.
That's where, like, all these, you know, these censorship groups come in, is because they're sitting there, they pick out one band like that that's sitting there singing about Satanism and black magic or anything along that sort of line, and then they're going, yeah, well, you know, this band is influencing my kid in a bad way, and that's where all that stuff comes along. That's why we wrote Hook and Mouth, because we're not a band that's doing that. Like I said earlier, I think we deal with worldly topics and, you know, more personal life experiences that are harmless. You know, I don't think anybody can read our lyrics and say, oh my God, this is the way. Oh my, this is it. I'm going to commit suicide over this. I think that's really stupid. And
again, I'm sure there are a few people that will.
How does it feel, Miss M, to be on the receiving end of the might of Capitol Records? Shortly before the next video, you will see Miss M in a state of dire ecstasy. The next video is AC/DC Warfare video.
It's always been the women, it always will be the women. Right before I die, the very last breath out of my mouth is going to be, girls, and then boom, out. I think it's the first reason musicians put guitars around their necks, and it's, no matter how even politically oriented you are, you could be, you know, people are starving in Ethiopia. At the end of the night, he wants to go back to the hotel and have a beautiful girl there. Oh, oh yes, everybody's starving and everybody's poor. And in the back of his mind, I wonder if I look cool.
The real love of what we're doing is as strong as it ever was. The real energy and the commitment and all those other things that come into keeping the band together is still there. And beyond that, of course, the fact that the people out there want the Priest and come to see us in concert is the all-important thing. Without these guys, we simply have no reason to carry on. So it's a bit of a heavy metal love affair.
I think I've broken new ground, yeah. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's like it's a field wide open. You know, girl, rock and roll, plays guitar. There's a lot of female singers, but not a lot of them play guitar. Yeah. So I guess it's okay, you know, for somebody to come along and sort of break the ice.
There's got to be something about your band that you have mystique. You've also got to have an outrageousness about your band, and that's, you don't have to, but that's the way our band likes to project itself.
Yeah, I think more than anything, we've always been a theatrical band. You know, we were influenced by all. I mean, obviously, we don't look like Alice Cooper, you know, or we don't look like Kiss, really. Mm-hmm. But you know, there was. I don't think you should be afraid to show your influences. No. I think that's what they're there for.
We're very anxious to go back in the studio. And in fact, our next album is going to sound like Prince. I mean, we want to be original. We really do.
I think that's a
You
great
know?
idea.
Don't you think? In fact, since for all those critics out there, for all those writers, right? Since they have a hard time talking about anything else but comparing new bands with older bands, we just been on the Monsters of Rock. So I think we're going to sound just like Van Halen.
And we're going into the bathroom. Okay, here we go. Here we have the sink. Now this is the pump switch that keeps being left on now that we don't want it to...
It's off, though,
Well,
isn't it?
it's off now. Now these are Robert's performance pants, which, as you can see, are kind of wet, but they're drying. So, you know, well, I want to give you a privileged inside view. There we go.
Here we go.
There we go.
That's where the heart of the matter is.
Yes, that's right. And there you have it. The tour. You know, I think it rivals any major castle around the world. Can Hearst? I think it rivals Hearst.
I think we're dangerous to anybody that's not into rock and roll. Anybody that's into rock and roll knows that we're just rock and rollers, and with a very sick mind. That's all. We're just a little twisted.
Words of wisdom, wouldn't you say, from all kinds of people. But, you know, out of all the letters that we got for Power Picks 88, you seem to want to see 2 interviews more than any other 2 interviews, and they were Def Leppard and also AC/DC. Now, there are an awful lot of Def Leppard and AC/DC fans out there, so we thought that that's exactly what we'd play. Michel Lamoureux writes that he watches the Power Hour every week, and there's just one little minor detail that's wrong with the Power Hour, and that we just don't play enough AC/DC videos. Yeah, we get a lot of letters like this. Thank you, Michelle. We are going to be playing some of that right now for you. Also, Def Leppard, Kelsey Kimball writes that we must play some Def Leppard on her Power Picks 88. She is from Georgia, and she watches much music, far more than she watches MTV. It's the only place she can get to see alternative videos and really good metal videos, so we must be playing more Def Leppard for her. Also, Kelly Dixon writes that her favorite interview was Michael Williams and Def Leppard, also Laurie Brown and Def Leppard. I don't think it was so much that Mike and I did the interview, but, you know, it was like who we were interviewing. Okay, I can handle that. So we're going to play Def Leppard for her. Gloria Weiss is a big fan of the Pepsi Power Hour, and she writes that some of the best interviews she'd seen on Much were Def Leppard. You know, the one with Rick and Joe Elliott? That one had to be the best. She said she waited up until 3 a.m. to see that one. The interview with Angus Young of AC/DC was cool, but I wish Mike Williams could have talked to Brian Johnson. When Laurie Brown talked to Rudolph and Matthias of the Scorpions, that was a blast too. We got a little piece of that in there. So we're going to play some Def Leppard for Gloria. And also we got one other interesting letter from Stephen Maidment of Galt, Ontario, who says the best interview was definitely Gene Simmons of Kiss. But overall, he's talking about metal for 1988. This was the best year ever in metal. Guns N' Roses sell 5 million, Poison 2 million, Metallica 1 million in just 9 weeks. It was great to see Guns N' Roses win Best New Group on MTV Video Awards. They deserve it. Best concert this year for Stephen was the Judas Priest at the CNE in Toronto.